Hey guys, we are here with Cora this afternoon. We are at Riverwalk in Rock Hill. Cora is doing a good job. She was definitely very excited the first few minutes that we got here. So having a firm handle on her in the first few minutes, especially if you're going to take her to new places, is going to be very important. She has to know that this level of excitement is not acceptable and that there's other ways to do it. Every time we go out, she seems to get a little bit better. So hopefully, by the time she comes home, we have her looking good for you. As far as being calm when she first gets to places, not just after a couple of minutes of working her and calming her down. Um, but I will, of course, show you guys exactly how you're going to go about doing that. I started filming right now because we're actually walking down the stairs right now, and I thought that this was a great opportunity to show you that just because we're going downstairs doesn't mean you get to start barreling down them and pull me because we're doing something a little bit more challenging. So using pops, the transitional is working really well. She still tries to paw at it here and there, just doing a pressure and release anytime her paws are off the ground trying to paw at it. You just have pressure on. As soon as she stops, you release because, again, that's telling her calm down. You've calmed down, right? So right now we'll start heading. I'm going to say heel. And I'm going to go slow, and I'm going to see right there, as soon as she pulled ahead. Now, you don't have to worry like, oh, she's going to pull me, right? Most people don't realize as soon as you feel tension, I can release that tension, and my dog's usually going to be like right here. So doing solid tension is not going to help anything, right? That's just like saying, just solid tension. Doesn't mean anything. It has to see right there was a perfect thing when she tried to pod. I gave her a pop to say, don't do that, basically, right? So again, we don't speak English. I'm sorry, dogs don't speak English. We don't speak bark. So we have to have a way to communicate with our dogs, and that's going to be a pressure and release system using our slip lead, using ourself as a form of pressure, and using an e-collar as a form of pressure. So all of those are a pressure on, pressure off system, right? And it's simply to get their attention with all of them. So it's basically that, pay attention, right? So she's staring at something right now, right? So if I step in front of her and use spatial pressure, it's forcing her to pay attention. If I use a pop on the leash, it's telling her pay attention, right? If I use a tap on her e-collar, that would mean pay attention. Okay, so all of it is strictly that. Getting your dog to focus on you to do what you want them to do. You can't just have them have free will and let them do what they want to do and then get mad when they do what they want to do and just keep saying, no, 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 you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. But what is right? If you've never shown them how you want it to be done, it's not fair for you to tell them that they're doing it wrong, right? So you have to be a leader for your dog. That is a key factor in training, okay? It's about being a team and working together, having a working relationship so that your dog respects you and the commands that you do. Your lovey-dovey relationship comes super duper naturally if you have a dog that listens to you because you always tell your dog what you expect of them and you have follow through that if you ask them to do something, they do it 100% of the time. We cannot have any kind of, I asked her to sit this time and she got up and ran away and I was just like, whatever. If you do that, she's going to learn that you're a pushover. At some point, you're going to allow her to get away with what she wants to do. It's just a matter of when, right? And what one she's allowed to do. And then that makes it even more confusing because then you're telling her, I don't know, she doesn't know what time is that correct time to that it's right, if that makes any sense, right? Is this command the time that they're going to make me actually follow through? Or is this one of those times that they're going to let me kind of get away with it? Or if I break, I can get away with it, right? So having struck her, having a firm handle on her, and that doesn't mean literally a firm handle on her. It actually means the opposite. You want a very loose leash. Your goal is to always have your arms down, your shoulders dropped, with a loose leash kind of just hanging on the tips of your fingers. You don't want to close your fist because then your leash has nowhere to go except for pressure on, pressure off. If you have it on the tips of your fingers, right, it can slide and still be loose. Okay, so learning how to hold your leash properly is another factor to all of this. There's a lot of things that make it, once you figure out how this all works, it's really simple. Okay. And it's simple because we're going to make it simple for our dogs because they don't speak our language. So we have to do things easy. You can also see I'm walking really slow with Cora right now, okay? Going slow is harder for a dog than going fast. What we tend to do when our dog is kind of going ahead of us a little bit, it's almost like we're trying to race them and get ahead of them. You don't want to do that, right? She should be following your lead. If she is slightly ahead of you and staring at that leaf, like right there, she's ahead. She's leading right now. If this was a race, she would be leading, right? So I have to be leading, and she should be slightly behind me so that she can follow my lead and know what I'm doing and where I'm going. Okay. Heel. So right there, she got ahead of me, right? I don't want her to get ahead of me, so it's up to me to tell her that by using the language that we've now taught her, our slip lead. Off. All right. So going slow makes her have to focus on what we're doing and not just like walk where we get into this pace and she kind of forgets that she's supposed to be doing something. Right, Cora? Even right there, I can't let her start walking if she's staring over that direction. She's not looking at me. How's she going to know that I start moving right now, right? So instead of that, I'm going to use a high value treat since we're in a high distraction setting. Somewhere I know I'm going to have a harder time getting her to focus on me is when I'm going to use my high value treat. So I have hot dogs with me. And now you can see all I have to do is crinkle my bag and she's like, oh, what's up, right? That's it. Good girl. So now I have her attention. She knows, oh, okay, treats are involved. So the handler becomes a little bit more exciting. We need to do what we need to do to get our dogs to focus on us. So these have to remain high value treats and they can't come out all the time. They have to be something that she gets only when it's like a new and exciting and a hard thing to work through. Because if she gets it all the time, it's not going to be as exciting, and she's not going to be as prone to wanting to pay attention to it when we're out in public. Okay, off. Because right there, she's just rubbing up on my leg, so I just said off, and I just kind of popped her, and I realized my phone was off-centered. Okay, off. So that was just because I was off. Right, and that's just because I was adjusting this, and again, she's still conditioning to wearing it on her muzzle. You know, some dogs take a little bit longer to condition to wearing it. If they ever get the chance to get it off of their nose, that makes it a little bit more challenging for the handler because they've learned even once or twice that I can eventually get this off. It makes the fight and the struggle a little bit longer because she thinks, I've done it once, I can do it again. If your dog never gets it off of their face and you're very good about letting her know, no, I don't allow that. I'm the only one that puts it on. I'm the only one that takes it off. Then you'll have, she'll stop trying as much. So that's goal. Try to not let her get it off her face. If she does that, you have to hold pressure. I know some of this stuff is a little bit more hands-on. You do have to, you are going to have to use some physical power with her because she is a big, strong dog. And we can't let our emotions of what we want to treat our dog like overrule the fact that, that she's an animal and this is what she needs us to do. If we want her to do it, this is how we have to do it. We have to be the alpha and show her what to do. Yeah? So right there, she pulled ahead a little bit. I'm not going to do a full stop because she slowed down. Right, so really, right, so I popped and release. Pop and release. So never steady pressure like this, right? This isn't going to work. Have to release. That is a big, big, big factor in it. Pressure and release doesn't work if there's no release. It's just pressure. That makes if it's just pressure, she's going to wig out. And that's too much force, right? So instead of that, I'm going to just pop and release that tension because she can't think through it. She's telling me it's too much to think through. So I'm going to release some tension and I'm going to kind of start fresh. Just pressure on, step in front of her to block her attention from whatever she's looking at off. So right there, she's just jumping up at it. And this is all just inversions because she's trying to, she just doesn't want to do what she's supposed to do right now, especially because there's this distraction. She wants to do what she's used to doing, and we have to show her a different way to do it. Good girl. Good job, Cora. No pressure. We have some distractions. Okay, nice and nice. Still sitting. Good girl, Cora. Cora, come. Good. Give her something else to think about. Pop and release. Now, healing is always going to be harder on grass. I don't recommend healing on grass because grass retains scent, concrete doesn't, so dogs are going to naturally want to sniff while they're on the grass, so I don't recommend healing on grass. If you're on grass, I recommend doing the lawnmower, which if you don't know what that is, you can refer back to one of my other videos, but it's basically a quick pressure and release like when you would start a lawnmower, right? They get to the end of the leash, you pop and release like a lawnmower. So this is great. This is exactly what we want to see. Again, just a little bit of pawing, just her trying to do her thing. She wants to do what she wants to do. But that's the whole point of training. Heel is showing her that there's a different way to do things. Come on, baby. Now, she's typically going to only paw at it when there's pressure. So, usually if she's starting to do that, that's a good kind of sign to you that she is that you have too much pressure on and you want to release some of that force. You have to understand that this is supposed to be zero tension at all, nothing, until you need to communicate, pay attention, or calm down. Pay attention, right? But besides that, it needs to be zero. Even that little force, I don't know if you even noticed, see? These tiny little pops mean something. So you always have stop, pop, and change directions. If you see right now, she's leading, right? So I'm going to change directions, and now she's behind me, right? Again, she gets in front, Cora off. She gets in front of me, I change directions, Cora. Cora. Left-hand turns are good because you bump into her, and it kind of forces her to realize, oh, I gotta slow down, right? And you want to do like there's a square on the road, and you do quick turns. Don't do these kind of like long turns where you stumble into each other and you're like, oh, she's not moving. Don't worry if she's not moving. It's about you. You're supposed to move, and your dog is supposed to follow. So if you have confidence in your walk, she's gonna walk with you. If you're looking at her, you're going, watching every move she does, it's not going to be as smooth. Okay, so you have to just have confidence. I'm walking this way. You should follow me wherever I go. Okay, so just little taps to communicate, pay attention. And if she's not paying attention, it's okay. We have a distraction coming up, and she clearly isn't paying attention to the handler. We're going to put her in a sit position, just her calm state of mind. And we're just going to let her kind of sit here. And I'm also going to do this. Cora. Here. Good girl. Right, so we have some treats right now while that distraction's passing by. Cora, sit. Sit. Good girl. Stay. Good. Right, so as the distraction will walk by, if I didn't take control of that situation right there, it would have just been a mess. It would have been what you normally see her do on an everyday occurrence. She sees people, she jumps, she gets excited. She would have done that if I didn't give her any direction to do something else, right? We've given her the keys to success. Now it's up to us to use those keys to help her succeed. Yeah? And the more you do this, the smoother it's going to look, the better your handling skills are going to be, the more she's going to understand where your invisible box is, which should start about at your knee and should go about there. Right? So if she goes outside your box, you can either pop to say, slow down, pay attention. You can do a full stop to communicate, calm down. Now, if she snorts like that, too much pressure. I moved in a little bit and released some tension. And then change directions, heel. So we got some bikes coming up, so I'm going to kind of move over to the side to help her with this, right? So I looked ahead, and I saw what was coming. Now I'm going to use my spatial pressure. Cora, I'm going to use my treats right now. Good girl. Using verbal praise. Good. Good job. Yes. Right, so again, okay, so bikes. She freaked a little bit, and then I released tension. She bugged down, but I still release tension. Most of the time what people do is they go like this and they continue to freak out because there's all this tension. See how tension means something to dogs? It's all about what it means though. If you make it mean something, if you make it mean that's how you get to do things, that's what she's gonna do. If you make it mean something else and have tension go away, you're going to see a lot more success. Okay. So obviously we're going to do a lot more work. We started getting out into public as quick as possible with her because I know distractions are going to be a big thing that we want to work through. Again, the more repetitions we do of things, the better she's going to look and the easier it's going to get. And that's what the board and train is for me to help you start those repetitions and build the foundation of her basic obedience, so that you can continue to use that once she comes home. And the more reps we get as she gets older, the better she's going to get. So yeah, hopefully that helps. We're going to keep on walking for a while and do as many outings as we can over the next week or so. So yeah, continue to follow along and watch Miss Cora's progress and see how she does over the next few days. Hope everyone has a great day. Bye-bye.